So good morning, guys. Good morning. Welcome to another trading session here with Trader Miguel X. Well, it is a pleasure to be here every day with you guys. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing fine as well. And yeah, it's Friday, man. It's Friday. These couple of weeks have been a run, honestly. We are approaching very fast the Christmas holiday. So yeah, this year has been quite challenging, and honestly, it's been a run. It's really been a run. I don't know if you guys feel the same or not, but uh, that's what I feel, honestly. That time has been running, and it's not giving us any chance to even look back. But yeah, enough of talking, and let's go straight to the business. I mean, we need to see what's going to happen here on ES and on these charts, since yesterday we didn't do anything, and I honestly I was mistaken. Honestly, I thought that we were having NFP today, but I didn't remember about the government shutdown. So we are still in government shutdown, so there's no NFP. So I apologize if you guys thought that we would have any sort of NFP action today. But yeah, it's not happening. It's not happening. It will be whenever this government shutdown ends. So let me just say good morning to everybody here on the different platforms. And yeah, let's talk about the charts. I guess we are already opening here. Yeah, that's it. So Asia range, London kind of manipulated to the upside, trying to get out of this NWOG, but then we moved lower, and these levels that you see here, they are respective to a weekly wick that we are working, and as you can see, price is really respecting these levels. So honestly, my main bias for today, my draw on liquidity for today is previous week's low. It's not the previous week. It's I think it's the week before this one. So it's not, as you can see here. Let me just zoom in a bit on the weekly. So I'm probably aiming for this week here, the low of this week. Previous week's low is this one, but I am aiming for this one here. But yeah, I needed to see, first of all, I needed to see some sort of manipulation to the upside, and it's not happening. So we might end up going straight to the downside here, since we are closing below an NWOG as well. And if so, that will be a tricky session, because our main draw on liquidity would be hit in the first minutes of the session. So I'm not sure. We already took out pre-market lows. Let me take a look at what the regular trading hour session is doing. So we opened with a big opening range gap as well. This makes no sense being in here. No, it's the previous day low. Yeah, it is, but this sell side doesn't make sense to be here. So yeah, I wish we opened higher. We took out pre-market highs and then displaced lower. That would be ideal, but it can happen that price will just stay below this NWOG, since it's already trying to get out of it, and when it pushed to the downside, it will probably reach for previous week's low as our sell side point here. It can also leave this open. And since we already took out pre-market lows, we can eventually go to the upside in a thank God it's Friday setup where we kind of rebalanced all these shorts that happened during the week. But I'm more inclined as a bearish bias here, honestly. So let's see. Let's see if we can eventually move lower. I'm not a big fan on taking positions right at the open. I'm not a big fan of it, honestly. But if we were not right at the open, I would eventually short this for previous week's low. Let's see. Let's see what we will have here in the first minutes. But yeah, I'm really more inclined for a drive lower, especially on ES, and then waiting for something eventually. But I'm not sure. Let's see. Let's give it a little bit more time to price, and because everything can happen, I can see a lot of liquidity here at these highs as well. But as you can also see, we are rejecting all these quadrants of this wick. So I guess a move lower is more than guaranteed here, I guess. I'm not sure if you're in the same page as me, but I feel like, yeah, previous week's low is the draw, and we will head lower. NQ also pushing here. Notice how we moved out of the NWOG. We kind of rejected the midpoint of it as well. But yeah, there's no opportunity to get in. I would like to see a purge of buy side liquidity, and honestly, it's not. It doesn't. The price didn't give us that purge of buy side liquidity. That's why I'm kind of annoyed about it, because I can see price coming here, but at any time it can eventually go for those buy side liquidity points. And that's one of my rule of thumb, where I need to see buy side liquidity first taken just to take a short. There we go. Moving lower. I guess this is the low hanging fruit. It can happen that as soon as we take this sell side point, price can eventually move to the upside as well, because of all this buy side liquidity that is resting above these highs. But I guess things will be a little bit harder for price. So it was a one drive only towards sell side liquidity. This is not even our first presented fair value gap. The first presented fair value gap is around here. Shall be this one. And there we go. Sell liquidity is taken here on ES. We still have a lot to go for NQ. NQ still has a lot to move. If it wants to take out the same low. But at this point, I'm not sure if I should short this, honestly. So one drive to the downside. Well, let's see if the market can eventually do something else here, since we moved lower in a one-sided way. But I believe the market is kind of heavy, and it will go probably lower. Let me just go on the higher time frames just to have an idea. Yeah, but the major drawn liquidity is hit here, so we have a 4-hour fair value gap here as well, which is about 60 handles away for yes, but that would be a stretch. So let's see if price will somehow react to the upside and try to take this buy side liquidity here, since we already took out previous week's low. For that to happen, I would like to see price coming above the first presented fair value gap and eventually reaching for the NWOG once again. But looking at NQ, I'm not sure if that will happen, honestly. I can see price coming lower for NQ as well. It still has about 150 handles to run just to hit the same target as yes. So it's kind of a stretch for going that lower, but I'm not sure. I will wait. The low hanging fruit was this 5-minute move here. It could be something, it should be something like this, but yet the risk to reward was not ideal as well. You could eventually, yeah, the stop would have been massive here. A 11 handle stop. It's a big stop. So let's see if price has the audacity to come to the upside once again, or if we will just retrace, reach for this NWOG, and then move lower. Because for now, I can't do anything. I can't do anything right now. What about you guys? Have you done anything? Did you guys took the short right at the open? Or were you expecting some sort of buy side liquidity purge first? And since it didn't happen, we didn't even go for pre-market highs. We could eventually go for pre-market highs, but it didn't happen. But what I'm watching here is that this can eventually be a power 3 setup as well, where you have your accumulation where you have your manipulation, and if price is able to go to the upside, we shall have our distribution because we have a lot of stops around here, around here, around here, and even London highs. But I need to see some willingness to trade above. I need to see some higher displacement and a formation of something that could indicate that we are in a bullish market. Yeah, so far, price was able to invert this one, the last fair value gap, the last bearish fair value gap. But we are stuck here at the first presented one. Let me just take a measure of projection here. This is the last leg to the upside, to the downside, to the upside, I mean. And yeah, we reached for 2.5 standard deviation. Let's see if this is just a retrace, and if we go lower, because we can retrace until this area right here, which is normal for price. Seems like price is trying to get above the first presented fair value gap as well. Nice reaction here. The only problem here is that NQ still has some sell side liquidity to take. Otherwise, this could be a nice setup to the upside. Nah, but there we go. First presented fair value gap being respected at its midpoint. Now displacing lower. I guess lower we go. So we retraced to the silver bullet area here, but we are coming back with some strength here. Just let me take a look at YM just to see what YM is doing. Losing some steam as well. These stops are massive. Yeah, will not do anything here. I'd rather wait. not liking for bearish continuation. I'm not liking this. So we probably will head to the upside since we are coming back towards the first presented fair value gap. So this is not a typical bearish retrace. Hello, Pablo. Well, I was aiming for the same low as ES. So on ES, let me just zoom in here a little bit. On ES, you took out. This is the actual weekly candle. This is the previous, and this is the previous to the previous. So the sell side point on NQ, if we go to NQ, it's, see what I'm saying, this point right here. So for a continuation lower, I would like to see NQ coming to this low, and it will eventually drag ES with it. So let me go back to ES, because I believe we rejected once again the first presented fair value gap. Yes, we did. But these stops are quite large. And honestly, I'm not liking how we are going back and forth here. But I kind of like this last candle. We kind of respected the midpoint of the first presented fair value gap. Unless we displace higher, taking out all these highs and close above the first presented fair value gap, I'm still bearish. $28, let me just 24. Yeah, on the micro contract, it's 24,766. 24,766. Yeah, but it's 30 points on NQ. It's not that big of a deal. But yeah, it's around those numbers. That's what I saw on NQ, and that's why I'm not sure if we will move towards that low or not. If NQ wants to move towards that low, it will drag ES with it. But on the other hand, I would like to see all this buy side liquidity taken as well. So if we manage to displace higher, I believe we will go for some sort of a, thank God it's Friday setup as well. So, but I need to see NQ assuming a bullish position as well, a bullish sentiment. Otherwise, this will be kind of tricky. Yeah, nice reaction here on it on ES. Kind of like this. But once again, these stops are massive. Pre-market highs should be a nice target here. The only problem is the size of these stops. $11 handles as a stop on ES is kind of kind of a big stop. Yeah, still no closure above the first presented fair value gap. Still waiting, guys. Still waiting. Nice reaction here. Kind of like this candle. But still no closure above the first presented fair value gap. So at any time we can go back inside of it. It's kind of a thick market here. Well, NQ is pushing ES as well. Now we got that displacement to the upside. Yeah, I can see what she's saying. Dow Jones is accumulating positive delta since 3 days. Since 3 days ago, so this will lead to reverse the market these next days. But today, looking a big sell day to smart when you start buying. Well, people is scary. Might be. Yeah, but so far, I'm liking this. But honestly, the problem here is that stops are too big, first of all. And if we come back once again, We are inside a macro. So this should give us a push to the upside. Mm. First reaction to that NWOG. Mm. Oh boy. Oh boy. And we have some action. Oh well. Well, whenever I see those wicks, those fast wicks, I I usually take the hands out of the mouse because honestly, I don't like to be in a market like that. There we go. Uh, yeah, it was. I felt like it was taking too long on the on the long side. Um, so now there's a lot of liquidity from those who are buying, and I presume we will go lower since we stopped right at new week opening gap as well. But I'm not sure. I don't like these conditions. Whenever the market just does things like this. Tricky. Tricky spot. Really tricky spot. Maybe this was the order block, and now we will head lower because on the 5 minute, it seems like it. We are respecting bearish PD arrays here. Let's see. Let's see if the market has some willingness to push higher here or if it wants to move lower. If we will go higher, then this will be a hard market to trade, honestly. You would like to see a turtle soup. Mm-hmm. I can see what you're saying. But usually turtle soups are way aggressive, way aggressive, and way faster than this. Yeah, I guess we will go lower here. Yeah, but once again, these stops, but And I guess I'm late now. So if I take this short, this would be around 3 contracts, 3 minute minis, micros, I mean. Yeah, I'm not selling still. See if we can get another push to the upside. That would be nice. Yeah, kind of missed it. God damn it. Yeah, we kind of missed it. So I believe NQ will head lower as well. Probably towards that sell side liquidity that I mentioned before. Like I hesitated a bit here. Hmm. Well, if you go to the upside once again, that would be a signal that we are in a tricky market. Yeah. Well, this is definitely a tricky market. This is definitely a tricky market, guys. Very ugly range here since the open, without any clear um, direction. Shall this be the sweep and the inversion to the upside now? Because it can be. I'm glad I did not. Uh, I did not chase the down move. I'm glad I didn't. Because if I had chasing it, I would not. I probably would not had the time to put myself at break even. If I entered somewhere around here, I would not have the time to put me at break even. Only here, I would had put me at break even. So I'm glad I did not chase. I guess that's what we call discipline, right? Somehow it can be hesitation. I know it can seem like hesitation, and I kind of hesitated a little bit. But whenever we hesitate, it seems like we are not certain of what we want from the market. So if I'm not certain, I prefer to stay away and not do anything. And that's why I did not chase it. And now we are ranging once again. It's kind of hard to decipher what the market wants today. It can end up be like a seek and destroy action or seek and destroy day as well. So we have to accept that. Because in fact we already moved a lot in the week. But yeah, it's kind of a tricky day here. I'm not sure if you guys did anything until now. Just just share with me in the chat if you guys took anything, if you're longing this. because right now it seems like the appropriate thing to do. But it kind of activated my trust issues as well. At this point, I can only long this with a retrace. Cannot long this here because I'm still interested in the buy side liquidity, honestly. Um, and since we rejected this last drive lower, seems like the appropriate thing to do. But I can only buy this on a retrace. I will not try to chase it. So back inside the NWOG. I can see these highs, all these highs being targeted now. So I presume this is the last. This is the last swing low here. So if we project this swing low to the upside, 2.5 standard deviation stands for approximately midnight open. -2 standard deviation approximately to event horizon. Yeah. So midpoint of the NWOG once again being respected. Projection being respected as well. So retrace is happening. But honestly, I would like to see something lower. Would be perfect if we manage to go a little bit lower. Bitcoin, Pablo. Let me go here on micro Bitcoin just to see. Ooh. Yeah, this seems interesting. Yeah, I guess we will have sub 100,000 on Bitcoin soon. Yeah, we kind of are inverting this, so it will probably do this. Yeah, it might be. Yeah, and price is not retracing to where I wanted it to retrace. Yeah. Yeah, it's correlated, and I know. It's not always correlated. I see that there are times where it doesn't work properly, but the majority of times it works. And it's not, I usually don't tend to look for it. I know it kind of works, but it has a degree of failure as well. So that's why I don't tend to look at it um, many times. So yeah, guys, honestly I'm not liking this market. It's not my cup of tea, honestly. Look at this. It's honestly not my cup of tea. Shall we buy this retrace? And looking at the 15-minute, it seems like it will continue to range. And the fact that we are once again um, rejecting the midpoint of the NWOG, that to me, it's like a red flag, you know? Yeah, it has a degree of failure, Pablo. That's why I usually it I don't look for it, honestly. Um, it works sometimes, I know about that, but usually I don't look for it. Nice rejection here from equilibrium, and it seems like we will head higher from here. Yeah, once again hesitating here, but just like I said, the market is not giving me that cool vibe. See? Price is really having a hard time to get above dead end walk. And it has some confluence with the bottom of the weekly wick as well. Well. Oh, just let me stretch a bit. Oh, God damn it. First presented for value gap, still holding here, but I guess the NWOG has a little bit more. It's a heavier indicator, whatever you want to call it. So I guess it has a larger degree of importance in price. So if we reject the midpoint of it, and we are clearly not getting through it, and we are rejecting the bottom of the wick as well. Searching for longs here doesn't make sense, I think, anymore. There is no willingness to keep going higher, I believe. Let me just mark this 15-minute. This is a 15-minute fair value gap, which we are constantly rejecting as well. As you can see. This price action is kind of ugly for me. I wish we could have some cleaner price action, because this to me is ugly. I kind of dislike it, and it's kind of messing with my bias, honestly, because I feel like I'm changing bias. Overall, this was the drawn liquidity on ES. And I said in the first minutes of the stream that if we take it with a one drive, the rest of the session would be very hard. And honestly, that's happening. I still believe we can go lower because NQ still has this low intact. And at the same time, I would like to see, for a drive lower, I would like to see some buy side being purged. But at this point, we already managed many times to get above this NWOG, and price is not able to do it. So I guess I'm more inclined for, I don't know. I really don't know. If this was NQ, I guess NQ is more inclined to go lower. But since ES already took its major sell side point, it can be stuck here for a while. Yeah, there we go. Moving lower. Closing below the first presented fair value gap once again. So if this was the manipulation leg here, we shall go minus 2.5 standard deviation. We rejected this 15 minutes. We are kind of rejecting the first presented as well. Yeah, but I feel that this is kind of a messed area here. I'm afraid that we will consolidate, and that's why I probably am better without taking anything. But once again, we rejected midpoint of the first presented fair value gap here, which is a bearish sign. But at the same time, there's no follow through. And looking at the 15 minute looks ugly. And I don't know if I want to participate in that mess. Looking at the 1 hour, it looks ugly as well. Once again, rejecting. Now it seems like we will have some follow through. But price is really taking too much time. And if you look at the macro, the 950 macro was an empty macro. So the probabilities of the next macro being a better macro should increase a little bit. Now we shall stop here inside this inverted fair value gap once again. Yeah, seems like we will go further down, just like we were suspecting. Not the cleanest drive lower, honestly. At least for me, it was not the cleanest. But I kind of suspect about it when I saw this displacement to the downside here, rejecting 50% of the NWOG, rejecting the bottom of the NWOG as well. And this could eventually be an entry here when we retraced to the first presented fair value gap here and rejected at the midpoint once again. So these were all signs that we were bearish. And now looking at NQ, it's 100 points away from its target. So the price once again respecting, probably reclaiming this fair value gap here. respecting its midpoint, respecting the projection as well. So another drive lower towards, probably towards minus 2.5 will happen. But it will be tricky to find something as an entry here. I feel like ES has been driven by NQ at this point because NQ needs to go lower. There we go. Yeah, I'm not sure if I will be able to catch it, honestly, unless we go for a retrace somewhere. The retrace here. Let's see how far we can retrace. Not so far, it seems like. So 1.5 standard deviation is being respected here. Yeah, the main opportunity was really around here, I guess. Retrace higher happening. Oh yeah, guys. Let me just check from here to here. It was a 20 handle move. Yeah, it was acceptable. So coming for the order block. Hmm. Price not able to close inside a reclaim fair value gap here. Let me just check. Yeah, this would be massive. Yeah, let's see if we can take this high out. We are entering the macro as well, 10:15. Yeah, but it seems like we will still move lower. This shall be the order block. NQ managed to do a new low, while ES is struggling a bit with a new low. What about you guys? Have you Did you catch the short here with the rejection of the NWOG and the rejection of the 15-minute fair value gap? Because this was the, I think this was the cleanest setup of the day. I guess that was the cleanest one, honestly. Yeah, price struggling to come above once again. The problem here is that even if I take a shorter round here, these stops are massive. 10 handle stop. It seems like yes wants to make another run. And Q is heading south as well. Let me just check YM just for curiosity. Yeah, it will do. It will do another run as well. And then Q is slowly approaching the target that we mentioned in the first minutes of the stream. It still has about 80 handles, to move. But it already moved about 80 to 90. So I feel like this will be a low grind to the downside here, digging lower. Yeah, moving down slowly moving down. I guess there will be no opportunities to get into something unless we take a leap of faith here. The price reached -2 standard deviation. Immediate response here. Let's see. Let's see if price wants to give us that higher grind here and another rejection around this reclaimed fair value gap, which would be around the retrace area as well. That would be optimal. But at this point, I'm not sure about it. Since price is, it kind of slowed down. So we reached for -2 standard deviation, which is a point where the shorts that started around here should take profit here around 2 standard deviation. But we can eventually expect a move a little bit higher towards -1 as a retrace. But since we did it minutes ago, I'm not sure about it. What about you guys? Are you expecting something? Did you do something? Because I believe there's only one setup for the session so far, which was the short. Did you take it around here? Right now, I'm waiting for something as a retrace. If we get so, and then a rejection once again, and probably a move lower because we still have some liquidity on NQ to take. You closed your swing shorts from yesterday, Pablo. Okay. Seems reasonable. Seems reasonable since we are reaching for the main draw on liquidity. Well, Topstep does not allow me to leave swing trades. That's a shame, honestly. It should, because sometimes I feel like the the bulk movement of price ends up happening when I'm not on my stream or when I'm not trading. Usually, it happens during the PM sessions or eventually during Asia, London, and yeah, I can have a good swing perspective, but cannot take advantage of that, and that's a bit frustrating, but it is what it is. So as I mentioned, I was expecting a retrace, but seems like the market doesn't want to give us that retrace. So we might end up taking nothing here because opening a position around here is kind of chasing, and chasing slow markets like these, they will probably bite you. Yeah, I know. Prop firms doesn't usually don't allow it. FTMO, let's swing trade it. Okay. Yeah, you probably pay swaps as well and all that kind of all the all that kind of fees. Um, so that's usual on those types of environments. And yeah, FTMO is way expensive than Topstep. I'm not sure about FTMO prices right now. I believe they are a little bit more competitive. But they used to be, yeah, they used to sell $1,000 accounts. So, and a 100,000 account would cost you about $1,000. So it's quite expensive, at least for Portugal standards, you know. You don't have on FT. I know that FTMO has a very good reputation, and it can be one of the best um, firms in the business right now, for a long time already. But they are quite expensive comparing to those like, I don't know, Topstep, Alpha Futures, all those prop firms. Yeah, Topstep has less percentage loss. Is it? Is it true? Well, my maximum drawdown on this account is about $2,000 right now. Yeah, I would say, yeah, it's about 1,800 something right now, which is not a lot. And there we go. No retracement at all, and we move lower. So yeah, guys, we missed the opportunity around here. This one right here could have given us something, but I was not in the mood to take this one. That would cost us a lot of mental capital just to break even this trade. I'm not sure about the drawdown rules on FTMO, honestly. And we are reaching on NQ. We are just 20 points away, I guess. And with that, we will eventually reach minus 2.5 standard deviation on AS. And this can eventually mark the end of this down leg as well. Maybe. When you pay, for example, for a 100K account, but they just allow you to lose 10%, it means 10K. You have to measure your account with that rule, but I don't know how it's in Topstep, but I think it's, well, yeah, it's definitely not 10K on Topstep. Let me just do a quick Topstep. Just, let me just go for a 100K account. Yeah, the maximum loss on a 100K account on Topstep is about 3K. And on a 50K account, it's about 2K. So that's why I've gone for a 50K account. So it has a maximum loss limit, a better ratio on a 50K account. because on a 100k account you can just lose 3k, which is quite low. And I usually manage it that way. I usually take about 10% of the maximum loss limit per trade. So imagine if you have a maximum maximum loss limit of 2000, I would take 200 as my maximum loss per trade. That would allow me a span of 10 trades. Um, it still is a bit of a stretch, but it usually it is what it takes. So nice delivery here, and NQ is almost reaching for its target. Yeah, you might be right. That's why it's cheaper. We manage a little bit less money. And yeah, the 100k account, it's just a mental trick, because the 50k account, it has a way better ratio than the 100. And if you look at the 150, let me just go. The 150 has a 4,050, 4,500 maximum loss limit for the 150. So that's not a lot. So NQ felt short here on its target. I guess we will move a little bit lower still. Price is really respecting bearish PD arrays here, as you can see. So today's read on price, it was not perfect, honestly, but it was not awful as well. I kind of deviate a little bit from the plan here when I saw that price was coming with aggression to the upside, but quickly realized that I was deviating from my plan. But then with this messy price action, I just took the hands out of the the mouse, and yeah, just let things run. So 2.5 standard deviation here. The price kind of reacted right at minus 2.5 standard deviation. And NQ, just let me take a look at NQ because that really was nice to see. So NQ on the weekly, come on, man. Just a little bit to the downside, and we are there. Just another push. So price now running once again. But yeah, guys, it wasn't a bad stream at all, I believe. Kind of hesitated a little bit, but it wasn't that bad. Yeah, for those who are watching, just chat with us. Just introduce yourself in the chat, and yeah, you can ask me wherever you want, guys. Um, if I know how to answer, I will answer. So for those who are watching, don't be shy. Just introduce yourself, and yeah, where are you guys from? For those who don't know, I'm from Portugal, from a city called Aveiro. Um, some people call it the Venice, the Portuguese Venice, and it has nothing to do with Venice, honestly. Francisco, como é que é? Looking for 5-minute change in state of delivery here. Yeah, for now it might, but we still have some liquidity on. We still have some liquidity on NQ that previous week's low. Let me just see. We are just some handles away from it, but I don't feel that we will left it untapped, honestly. Maybe we will do another drive lower, and then we can eventually reach for a change in the state of delivery and do something as a thank God it's Friday setup for the the PM session. I'm not sure, but it can happen. Let me just see. Yeah. For another drive lower, I would like to see some of these lows getting purged and not do and not act in a bearish way right away, but I'm not sure. NQ took sell side already. Oh, on a continuous contract. Maybe you're right. Let me just see. Yeah. Maybe you're right, bro. Nah, but here, even on the continuous contract, we didn't hit it. We are just a couple handles away, but we did hit it. 24. The low of this candle is 24,804. And it seems like, yeah, we hit it now. No, no, we already hit it. That's weird, honestly. You know, the continuous contract, we hit it. Am I hallucinating or what? I'm not sure what's happening here, honestly. Well, maybe we already hit it, so yeah, it seems like it. Let me take a look at YM just to see if there's still some liquidity below. Yeah, we are about 96 points away from, or 100 points away from the next point of liquidity. It would be some sort of a stretch to the downside here, but it can happen. Let me just check where we are in terms of this busy here on YM. And yeah, we can go a little bit lower, trying to go for the midpoint of that busy. And that would be 50% of this week as well, approximately. But I will probably not do anything, um, since I feel like I lost the opportunity around here to engage with this short. And since we already took the majority of these sell side points on NQ and NDS, I feel like we can drive lower. YM can eventually drag these two lower, but right now I feel like I would be chasing something, um, and chasing on a Friday it's always frustrating. It will drop until 2 p.m. Well, usually the New York PM session, whenever we have these one-sided sessions or these one-sided days, it usually presents us with the thank God it's Friday setup as a retracement to the upside. But I'm not sure. Oh well. Well, it honestly wasn't an easy session, despite expecting low prices since the beginning. I kind of felt a bit turned off as soon as we took sell side as the previous week's low here on AS on a one drive to the downside right at the open. It kind of threw me off. So at some point I was I was convinced that we would go lower because NQ had some sell side liquidity um, still intact, but yeah, I guess I was kind of tricked with this move to the upside here, and this made me almost change my bias because I also was interested in all this buy side liquidity here. I did not interact with this, but at some point I have to admit that I was looking for buys around here, but then I saw that we rejected the midpoint of the NWOG. We rejected the 15-minute fair value gap as well. So these were all signs that we were probably still bearish. And yeah, then we displaced lower, but right away we came to the upside once again, and this price action was not clean to me. It started to get a little bit cleaner around here, and I almost almost hit the trigger around here. But then I started to think that, oh, but what if we do something like this? I'm not willing to spend time in a environment like this. So I just let it run, and that's it, I guess. Seems like the drop has ended for now. And since we are outside of the kill zone as well, we better start to mark these 10 a.m. highs, because lunch hour usually go for 10 a.m. highs or 10 a.m. lows. So it is quite possible that we will move a little bit higher inside the lunch hour. But I'm not used to play the lunch hour, honestly. And that goes outside of my comfort zone and outside of my time window of action as well. So I will probably leave it as it is. But at this point, I'm just curious to see where we are heading. We'll probably not take anything. But yeah, there's the possibility that YM will still drag price to the downside on both NQ and ES. It can eventually happen because YM still has some major buy side, major sell side liquidity to take. So that can eventually be a possibility. Yeah, we kind of stalled here a bit. And this, in fact, yeah, I would say that this, in fact, was once again a macro to macro move. Not like yesterday, not that clean as yesterday, because um, the entry was a little bit after the first macro, but it ended right here. It might continue, but the majority of the move ended right at the 10-15 macro. Yeah, so far, no change in the state of delivery. Everything looks still bearish. NQ just did a new low. Yes, kind of ranging still. Yeah. Seems like lower we go, but no major buy side liquidity was taken here, so nothing that we could eventually take. But there we go. Moving a little bit lower. New low on ES. And at this point we will probably if YM just drags price down, we will probably reach for -4 standard deviation. Let me just check. So we already reach for the midpoint of that daily fair value gap almost. So 50% of this wick is done as well. We still have a little bit more to go. About 68 handles, so 70 handles to go. And if we move 70 handles down on YM, we will probably move to -4 standard deviation here on ES as well. Let me just check. Yeah, 20 handles away. That's possible. But yeah, guys, since the market is kind of stalled now, and it kind of stalled now, and it's not doing anything that we wanted it to do. I guess I will end the stream here. It's been a while already, so 2 hours and 20 minutes. Yeah, no trades today, no trades, but I guess it is what it is. So we still have some work to do, honestly. I kind of hesitated a little bit around here when we lost the first percent of fair value gap. Could have entered around here, but didn't feel comfortable with this price action. So that's why I decided to stay away from it. I guess it's reasonable, honestly, because the open was not that clear. And since we took the majority of the sell side on ES right at the open with a one drive to sell side liquidity. Yeah, I believe that we would eventually face a hard session. So that kind of turned me off a little bit, and yeah, decided to stay away from it. But that's reasonable, I think. So better stay away from it than to lose money, honestly. So yeah, guys, I think that's it for today and for the session and for the week as well. Thank you very much for being there. Thank you very much for interacting as well. But I guess it's time to end the stream. Hope to see you next Monday once again. Same time, same hour. 9:15 to 9:20 New York local time. We will be there trying to trade and try to make money. So yeah, guys, stay safe. Have a nice weekend. Don't try to force anything. It's Friday. Remember that. So yeah, stay safe, guys. Thank you.